Good morning, everybody. Honorable Pak Sumarno as the third Assistant Director of Graduate Program, Ibu Siti Nuraini as the head of my study program, Pak Wiyaka, my fellow teachers in Inggris. Once again, thank you very much, Bu Nunung, Bu Siti Nuraini, as your smart introduction. So as Bu Nunung mentioned before, that now I'm in Taiwan. So hopefully I have a clear connection and good connection from Taiwan. So because Taiwan is a developed country and also Indonesia has good connection of internet, hopefully everything is going smoothly this morning. So it's a great pleasure for me to have the opportunity to present my topic this morning, entitled Applying a Business Simulation Game in a Flipped Classroom to Enhance Engagement, Learning Achievement, and High Order Thinking Skills. As it was mentioned by Aini, my focus of research now is in education technology. So you can see from my title that in this study, I was using business simulation game. It's a kind of, the approach is game-based learning, and I combine it with flipped classroom. So flipped classroom is also a very interactive and innovative pedagogical approach. The presentation today consists of introduction, literature review, method, result, and discussion. So actually, the presentation today, the topic is from my paper, which was published in 2022, last year. So I will be very honored to share my experience in doing experiment and writing paper this time. Game-based learning approach is a type of teaching in which principles of game are used to improve learner motivation, engagement, and performance. This principle may include points or leaderboard for examples. So actually, game-based learning and the group gamification is one of the trend of education technology lately in 2023. If you are all checking the internet about the trend of education technology used in 2023 or the last 10 years, game-based or gamification is one of them. So actually, this approach is very popular, and flipped learning is also very popular. I believe most of you or some of you have ever applied this kind of approach in your classroom. As we can see, the rapid advancement of information technology has transformed our life, and students grew up surrounded by media environments such as video, consoles, and computer games. Simulation is a unique and creative tool to increase student interest in learning. This is the fact that in a classroom, when we face the students, teacher has problem in some cases to attract students' attention. Mostly students are focusing on a cell phone gadget. So I think it's time for teachers to move on the what we call transformation from the classroom activity that we call chalkboard or using board marker in a classroom or teacher center. So we should move to student oriented or student center. In this case, we would like to focus more on the needs of our students. And business simulation games is one of the games that helps students understand the real world experience and practice. The keyword here is the real world. The real world experience practice means students learn as if the classroom is the real world. And business simulation games, such as similar as other games, create opportunities for students to develop the high order thinking skill required for business success. Later in this presentation, we are going to discuss about how to cultivate, how to produce high order thinking in the classroom. Creativity, critical thinking, as well as problem solving are example of high order thinking. I think all teachers in the world know taxonomy bloom. Taxonomy bloom is, always talk about the creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, or in other words, analyze, evaluate, and to create. And complete with low order thinking. But in the classroom, we try to cultivate high order thinking skill. And taxonomy bloom has been reviewed by Anderson and Cradwell. Actually, Anderson and Cradwell, they are students of Bloom many years ago. And one of them is the daughter of Bloom himself. And to promote high order thinking skill in the classroom, discussion, practice assignment, and target remedial help are all part of the class time. High order thinkings or HOTS have a factor structure that comprises, as I mentioned before, analysis, synthesis, application, and assessment. This factor structure helps capture student experience in a university setting. Another thing, other approach combined with game here is flipping the classroom. Refers to the practice of replacing after lecture homework with the expectation that students study course material before class. So Berkman and Sams are the founders or the initiator of flipped classroom. Flipped classroom is also called inverted. In Bahasa, we call it cluster balik. In traditional class, teacher usually speak in the classroom and then give homework. But in flipped classroom, we invert. We give them not homework, but material before the classroom. In this case, teacher will focus on the students, means the student has prior knowledge before entering the classroom. Flipped classroom is generally defined as reverse teaching model. That's what I mentioned in Bahasa is terbalik, kelas dibalik, where the teacher assigned the video materials that students watch outside the class, mostly before the class. It is a flipped class model because the classroom or the homework paradigm is flipped. The flipped classroom, which is combined outside classroom activities such as watching video or listening to audio recordings with an interactive classroom environment, with increased group of work and hands-on practice, increase student high order thinking skill. It means that because they have a prior knowledge from the video or the material before class, students are ready to discuss in the classroom. During the discussion, this is the process of cultivating high order thinking skill. And the incorporation of business simulation game in a flipped classroom can increase HOTS and engagement. So engagement is the most important thing in a classroom. When the students are listening to the teacher, and if the teacher gives immersive teaching approach, there is a process of engagement. In Bahasa, we call keterkaitan, nyambung. So the students are nyambung, engaged, because the teacher is very interesting in delivering the material of the classroom. So this is very important in a classroom activity when the teacher is focusing to the student's needs. This is the research gap of the study. Why do we use game-based learning and flipped classroom? Because in reality, there is the lack of insight into the use of simulation games in different educational contexts and the need for answer on how and why learning occurs in different contexts. Actually, games are everywhere. Honestly, children nowadays are playing games all the time. Parents do not maybe do not mind their students to play game instead of going around outside the house. But what they do not know that these games can be brought into classroom. So this is the mindset is to change the paradigm of how parents and teachers see the games. Maybe the most popular games for youngster is like Mobile Legend, but Mobile Legend is expensive. Dota or Minecraft. I think all students knows that. The teachers or the parents need to move to save the use of them into the classroom. And this is easy for us, for English teacher, because mostly game is delivered in English. Even you can check the vocabulary of words, new words they use in the game. We just need to select the games. That's why the game that is used for education, we call it educational game or serious game. And the game that I use in the study, because the study is about business. This is my first research, is using kewirausahaan or entrepreneurship in the classroom. Imagine how to teach entrepreneurship in the classroom. So I have experience of using this simulation game. It's very effective. So I would be very happy to share. And then we can use it for English classroom. This is very easy. We focus not on the business, but in the English process of learning. And the second gap is the hesitancy, or teacher is still hesitant to integrate simulation games into curriculum or curricula. Mostly teacher honestly prefer to use traditional, but young teacher,
Waalaikumsalam.
young teacher now try to focus on the use of games. And then the use of business simulation games to investigate engagement is relatively new field. Using business simulation game. For games, there are so many research about this. And then the use of BSG in fostering HOTS and engagement has not been adequately researched. So it's not easy to find research in the previous years about the use of business simulation game. And the last gap is instructional material in flipped classroom. This is about flipped classroom activity. The use of game has not been fully explored. Teacher enjoy to give homework after the class. So when I try to explain about flipped classroom to my students, the student of Pasca Sarjana, mostly this is the first time for them to know flipped classroom because of the regularity, keteraturan yang sudah sering dipakai. The teacher usually give homework after the class. Giving homework before the class is not common. But Please try, you will see the result. When you see, you face the student in the classroom and then your students are directly, or they directly ask questions to you based on the previous film or video that you gave the night before the class. So referring or based on this research gap, the last gap, hearts do not appear automatically. You cannot cultivate heart by giving the normal teaching approach. Teacher needs to give more practice, hands-on practice, the real-time word practice to cultivate high-order thinking. The most difficult thing of high-order thinking is to create and to evaluate. You need to give time for students to evaluate what they have done before. When you give them feedback, that's the process of evaluating. Because there is feedback, they try to create new things. This is high-order thinking. In a one-way communication of teaching, you cannot cultivate this high-order thinking. So you need media, you need more approach, you need tools, another tools in the classroom. Games is one of the tool, instructional tool to cultivate or to improve, to push, to build high-order thinking skill among the students. Based on these gaps, we create a study or research with the purpose, first, to investigate the impact of applying business simulation game in a flipped classroom on student engagement, achievement, and hearts. Achievement and engagement are partners. Actually, there is one more variable, motivation. But motivation is normally embedded in the engagement. And the second purpose of my study is to examine student perception of their learning experience in the flipped classroom using business simulation game. From the purpose, we can see that purpose number one will be analyzed using qualitative. And purpose number two is, the first is quantitative analysis. And the purpose number two is going to be analyzed qualitatively. From those two purposes, there are some research questions. The first research question is, does using business simulation game improve student engagement? I open this variable into the second layer of variable, behaviors, emotional, and cognitive. Improve compare with the conventional classroom or traditional classroom. And question number two, does using BSG improve student high-order thinking? High-order thinking consists of problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity skills compared with the conventional classroom. And the third variable, does using BSGs improve student learning achievement compared with the conventional classroom? And question number four is for qualitative analysis. How is student attitude towards the use of business simulation game in the classroom? So this is the purpose and research questions. I'm going to move to the literature review. I'm going to make it fast because there are too many things to discuss. But the first is engagement and achievement. This is also for my students. If you want to conduct experiment and writing papers, make sure the literature review refers to the variables that becomes the focus of the research. So the literature review consists of engagement and achievement, performance, high-order thinking, and flipped classroom. And of course, also discuss about business simulation game. So engagement and achievement. Engagement and achievement is two variables that are always connected. The student can achieve or can perform well when they engage in the classroom. If the engagement of the students are improved, automatically the achievements are improved. Engagement is defined as the extent to which students contribute to the activities. If the students engage, usually they contribute something. Why do you think students ask questions in the classroom? Because they engage to the material. So the situation where the classroom is silent, there are two things. I'm sorry. The student is shy or they don't understand the material of the teaching. So teacher needs to explore about this. Personally, I'm very happy if the students ask questions, because building question means you are engaged. You need to make a good question. Means your mind relates to the material. Course creates class participants, academic performance, and course completion can be used to predict learning outcomes, of course. The result of education is assessment, is the score, academic performance. This is very important. And engagement is explicitly associated with achievement, as I mentioned before, and considered as vigorous predictor of academic achievement, retention, and graduation. Students usually focus on the final results. They are happy with the GPA, they are happy with the final score of the teachers. But for the teachers, mostly they are happy because of the process, because the student really understand what they give or what the teacher give or deliver in the classroom. This is very important for the teacher. We are focusing on the process of the education in the classroom. High order thinking skill, HOTS. The trend of the paper now are still on the HOTS point of view. When I put high order thinking skill in the title, in my dependent variable, in the content of the topic, it seems that everything is smooth. This is my first paper. I'm lucky. I think after my paper was published, there are so many questions about high order thinking skill. I got some questions from my research kit portal. Mostly they are asking about how to cultivate high order thinking skill in the classroom. They asked about this in my paper, and my answer will be the same. It's about choosing the best instructional approach and tools in the classroom. Most international competency models promote critical thinking, problem solving abilities in multidimensional and unpredictable setting. So the connection of high order thinking and the other variable actually is the problem solving skill. Problem solving refers to the ability to identify problem, collect and analyze relevant information, propose possible solution, and choose the most effective solution for the problem. When I connect high order thinking skill and other matters, problem solving is always number one. Number one focus to connect with other field. Critical thinking refers to the ability to analyze information objectively, think clearly and rationally, and make reasonable judgment. And creativity refers to the ability to create new objects. The most difficult thing to cultivate the skill among students is creativity. Evaluate is something happens regularly in the classroom. When the student got feedback from the teacher, that's the process of evaluating. Student understand. The teacher is very good in doing evaluating process and analyzing. But what about the students? Teacher needs to give media of activity in the classroom where the students can do evaluating, analyzing, and if they are very good in doing evaluating and analyzing, they will move to creativity. Because when they evaluate, they try to create something new. This is very important skill. The third literature review is about business simulation game. This is the instructional tool in this study. Of course, as I mentioned before, business simulation game can transform teacher-centered classroom into learner-centered because students play the game, so the focus is on students. Teachers, in this case, just become a facilitator. When the student play the game on the computers, teacher need to supervise and show, this is correct, this is not correct, this is the way to do this, this is the way to do this. So actually, teachers do not need to speak more in the classroom because the students are very active, hands-on. They use the hands to push the keyboard, to move, to join the interface of the simulation game. They focus, they concentrate. In this case, the process of engagement. Real-time feedback in simulation environments enable students to clearly define. In a very good game, simulation game, they give feedback. The feedback they give is in a shape of gamification. We need more about gamification because mostly a very good game give you feedback using leaderboards. Student get the first rank. Student get clap hands. Student get thumbs up. That's the source of motivation. That is the gamification. So that's the real-time feedback. If you perform well, automatically the interface or the games will give you reward. The very simple reward is thumbs up. So students know that they perform well, they are happy. So they move on the more and more inside deep learning to the game. And the next step of real-time feedback, sometimes in a game, they prepare ladder box. They give rank. Oh, you are number 1, you are number 2, you are number 3. If you are in the last rank, students usually move and enthusiastic to evaluate their play, the way they play the game. So this is what we call real-time feedback. What happened with the teacher? Teachers sometimes do not give real-time feedback. Feedback of the teacher mostly is in a score. The score is at the end of the term, for example. Formative score. After finish one chapter, some teacher will use, oh, you are very good in this chapter. That's not real-time feedback. The real-time feedback is giving directly after the performance. Some teacher give it, like, oh, you are very good. Oh, well done, something like that. But because the teacher mentioned that many times and to everybody, maybe students are not very touched. It's different when, oh, you are the first rank in this chapter, but it will take times. Teacher will think it takes time to give real-time feedback to students. So this is what happened with the game. Game will give real-time feedback in 1 minute, 1 second after the performance. That's why the students are very happy. And actually, BSG has been used for over 60 years and continue to be developed to satisfy current and future needs. And BSG are effective tools for developing skill because we are talking about business simulation game, the skills such as decision making, problem solving, and critical thinking. Why decision making? Because in a game, you have to make decision as soon as possible. If not, the time is up. mostly game give you time. And problem solving, yes. Especially in the business simulation game, they give you case study. You have to solve the problem. And when you solve the problem, they directly give you the result. The result is usually in a form of graph. You can see, your performance is good, your performance is not good, and so on. And critical thinking, because business simulation game consists of some phase steps. If you lose in one step, you will review. You will be reviewed, and then you can move to the next phase. So you must be critical. Automatically, your mind, your critical thinking in your mind will work well in this case. And simulation game, another dynamic business decision making by requiring players to develop strategy and then implement through a series of decisions. As I mentioned before, the game usually consists of some step or phase. So if you lose in the first phase, you need to develop new strategy to win in the next step, or this is common in every game. Even the smaller, the simplest game give you a competitive strategy. Okay, we move to the flipped classroom. Flipped classroom is a kind of innovative teaching approach that is applied in this classroom. And it is acknowledged as creative teaching technique that encourage student participation. Why encourage student participation? Because teacher gives material before the class, and then in the classroom, teachers directly ask some question to students. Hey, what did you see about the film last night? What do you think about? If students do not watch the film, they cannot answer. So you can try to apply this approach little by little, because they are not common or they are not used to have material before class. Students sometimes ignore. But if in the classroom, every time teacher meets the student and asks question about the video they have been, they are given before class, the teacher will, and then sometimes the teacher, why didn't you see the film I gave you before? Maybe in the next meeting, student try to see the film. So it will move and then become the good habit for students to always see the material before entering the classroom. And flipped classroom is considered innovative pedagogical approach in which the teacher-led instruction mode is reoriented towards student-centered learning. So it's not easy to move from teacher-centered learning to student-centered learning. Teacher need to apply very creative pedagogical approach in the classroom. And students study material before class and discuss and apply it in the classroom. This is very important for students to have prior knowledge. However, teacher must create interactive classroom activity that increase collaborative work, such as through devising activities involving pair work, group work. Teacher can ask students to do pair work, group work, instead of asking them one by one. Maybe they are still not used to have material before. You can divide the groups. Please discuss the material you watched last night. For example, like that. This is about flipped classroom. Okay, the next step of the study I have performed in 2021. The participant of the study is 48 students of undergraduate students in public university in Indonesia. I don't mention the name of the university, but this is public university. I did this research in 2021, the end of 2021. And I conduct quasi-experimental research, divides into two groups, experimental group 24 and control group 24. So in the quasi-experimental research, usually we do the two groups, experimental group and control group. Why do we use two groups? Because we want to know the result of our new intervention. The intervention here that is done by the teacher is using instructional approach, flipped classroom, and the tool game-based. In this case, we use business simulation game. So the control group students were taught applying flipped classroom, the same flipped classroom, and the experimental group students were taught by flipped classroom also, but we add game-based learning or business simulation game in this case. So this is the participant. And then the research design. The research framework I use here is a mixed method, quasi-experimental design was used. You can see here I use the comparison test, uji beda. We want to know the difference between two groups before and after the treatment. So the independent variables of this research, this study, is instructional strategy. Control group, both control group and experimental group use flipped classroom, but for experimental group, we give them business simulation game. So business simulation game is the intervention made by the teacher here. Teacher want to know the difference of the class when they use game and without game. And the dependent variable we would like to see the outcomes are engagement. Engagement consists of behavioral engagement, emotional engagement, cognitive engagement. I know one of my students focus on the cognitive engagement. Okay. But in this case, I'm going to see the result of all the indicator of engagement, behavioral, emotional, or cognitive. And then high order thinking consists of problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. Creativity is to create. Critical thinking is to analyze. And problem solving is to evaluate. And the learning achievement. So this is the research design we used in this study. And this is samples, pictures of the research activity. I did it in 2021 when Indonesia is in a very worse pandemic condition, COVID. So I remember we need to apply for the procedure of health. The health procedure should be done tightly. So students were supposed to do what we call rapid test. And then during the classroom, there are 8 meetings every day. They have to use the face shield and mask and face shield. So according to the procedure, we have to put everything on the table. Hand sanitizer when they are in class activity, and we also prepare everything outside the classroom. So I remember one of the students was suffer COVID. They have to leave the classroom because all university at the moment should follow all the health procedure. It's not easy, but I was lucky everything was performed well, even though during pandemic.
Excuse me, Felicia.
Yes.
You have 5 minutes left for your presentation. Okay.
This is the flipped classroom. The difference between the control and experiment group, you can see here. This is the normal classroom. So every class consists of 100 minutes. This is normal classroom in the normal university. And then consists of 3 parts: individual session before class, collaborative in the classroom, and teacher feedback. And we create a fine video before the classroom. So before entering the classroom, students need to see the film we prepare. This is a business class, so you can see the video that we prepare is also about how to start business, STP analysis, SWOT analysis, Porter 5. This is a part of entrepreneurship curricula. And then this is the business simulation game we use. Honestly, I pay for this because this is very good. So the very good game usually is not free. Of course, we can use the free game, but for the purpose of simulation game, I paid this game from University of Tennessee, United States. And I show you, this is one of the interface of the game. The game was talking about selling product. So students were trained to sell product, customize, and open the store online. So these bicycles product are customized. This is the real word, because the publisher or the seller of the game prepare buyers. They also prepare money, virtual money, to be operated in this game. And this is the experiment procedure. The procedure of experiment in quasi-experiment, we have to create the procedure like this. Consists of 9 meetings. Pre-test at the beginning, and then normal class, control group, and experiment group. Ended with post-test and interview, because we use mixed method, qualitative and quantitative analysis. This is the measurement that we use. I use ANCOVA for analyzing the pre-test and post-test, student engagement, high order thinking, learning achievement. And the interview, we use MaxQDA. MaxQDA is the software of qualitative analysis. It's make our analysis easier using MaxQDA. And this is the result of our study. The result can be seen from two tables, shows that we use ANCOVA, so before and after the group. You can see here the result are significant. The experiment group more significant than the control group, has a better result. And if you can see, the most result here is cognitive engagement, and then emotional, and then behavioral. So this game create the most in cognitive engagement. And for HOTS and learning achievement, it's also experiment group have the higher result than the control group. You can see from the descriptive, the mean, and also the ANOVA. Why I use ANOVA for HOTS? Because I do not apply pre-test for HOTS. HOTS is cultivated in the classroom, and then we see the result and check using the post-test. And then the result of interview. We can see here, the interview test was analyzed using MaxQDA. The function of MaxQDA is to quantify the qualitative data. So our transcribe, our coding, everything were analyzed using MaxQDA. So this is the result of MaxQDA. We can see here, mostly students think that the usefulness of game is the higher. That's from the aspect of business simulation game. And from the learner aspect, high order thinking skill is the highest. This is the result of the interview analyzed using MaxQDA. And from social aspect, it is very effective to learn using simulation game. So the highest is learning effectiveness. I make it fast now. The discussion, the impact on student engagement. PSG had positive impact on student engagement. 3 of them: cognitive, emotional, behavioral. Cognitive refers to the degree of investment in learning. Behavioral involves the participation. So the students attend, the student participate, automatically they get the behavioral engagement. And emotional, if they are happy, they are satisfied, they enjoy the game, they achieve the emotional engagement. Students are very happy in doing the game. The impact of business simulation game was most significant on cognitive. I mentioned before, cognitive followed by behavioral engagement, emotional engagement. And then impact on HOTS, creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving. Creativity refers to decision making. They create something, they become creative. Critical thinking, evidence in activity involve evaluation of company performance. When they evaluate the result of their performance, they improve their critical thinking. Problem solving, the skill most directly associated with the simulation game. Most activity involve identifying and analyzing. So that's problem solving. Students analyze all areas of their company's performance and compare with the competitor, and they achieve the best in the classroom. That's the problem solving skill. Impact on learning achievement. The result confirmed that PSG supported opportunities for deeper learning of the subject matter by simulating authentic experience in real environments. They achieve more. At the end of the game, the interface of the game shows the rank using the balancing scorecard. In economic, we call it cumulative balancing scorecard using graph. You are number 1, you are number 2. This is your performance because you are very good in selling product, in opening new market and everything. This is about business. I have to fast. This is the interview results. The learning approach integrating business simulation game and the classroom. Proof enhancing high order thinking skill. And teaching learning approach motivated the student to learn more actively. This is the fact, because students play the game, they learn more active. The students suggested that this teaching learning model will be applied in the study. Student suggests the teacher to use this game in the other subject and included in the curricula. So it needs the higher thinking of the teacher and the departments to buy games for the learning approach. And the conclusion, the active learning activities provided by business simulation game and the student-centered approach of the classroom made classroom session more interactive and enhance students' engagement, high order thinkings, and achievement. You can see the conclusion, and in the future research should be conducted with larger sample. It will be more generalized if the samples are more than 48. Honestly, it's not easy to collect students and put them in the classroom in order to do experiments. And finally, I'm happy to share my paper published in Computer Education with the same title. Because of this paper, I can graduate from this university because that's the compulsory requirements for all students to publish one SSCI paper. SSCI paper, not Scopus. But this paper is also Scopus index. This SFR, this is in a category of computer science, and key one, this is ranking 1 of the education and educational research. This is the latest source of journal citation report. The process is very long. You can see from 25th of June 2021, I was decided and got news from the publisher on March 2020, say almost 9 months. So this is a long process of the research. I hope I can share this idea to you and will give you benefit for students or teacher how to conduct research and write a paper. So I think this is the end of my presentation. I would like to say thank you for all of your participation. I quote Nelson Mandela quote that education is the most powerful weapon. We can change the world. We are teachers. We can change the world by using education. Thank you very much, so Bu Nur Aini. This is the end of my presentation. Once again, thank you for all the participation and attention. Thank you, Bu Nunung.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Lucia. That was a very insightful research report, research presentation that you did a while back. For the participants, please, if you have questions related to Lucia's research, you can shoot your questions on the chat box, and we will read your questions later in the question and answer sessions. Thank you, Lucia. It was a really well thought, well arranged research and very methodical and very insightful about how students perceive the way they learn using the flipped classrooms. It's like changing the perspective of education itself from the traditional one. Usually the teachers are the ones who spend time talking and then the students listening. But in your research, you reverse that methodology into making the students becoming the active agents of their own learning. Moving forward,
most welcome, Bu Nur.
yes, okay, Felicia, thank you. Moving forward, we will come to the second speaker with Dr. Wiyaka. Pak Wiyaka, are you here?
Yeah, Bu Nur.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pabi. Okay, Dr. Wiyaka is here with us and he's going to present his work. Before we come to the talk from Mr. Wiyaka, from Dr. Wiyaka, I'm going to introduce him in a bit. So Dr. Wiyaka is our lecturer in our department. He also teaches in the bachelor program or English department. He finished his master's and doctoral degrees from Universitas Negeri Semarang. His research interest revolves around assessment. So this is like one of the main components in English teaching. And Pak Wiyaka specializes his research on that department. He has published widely on the topic of assessment and also English education in general. His expertise around assessment has become one of our pride in our department, that whenever someone asks about assessment, we will point only go to Mr. Wiyaka because he's really good at it. So that's what we have in our department. We are really proud of Mr. Wiyaka, Dr. Wiyaka. And without further ado, Dr. Wiyaka, he will present the topic of assessment in the context of freedom to learn curriculum. Pak Wiyaka, if you are ready, the time is yours.
Okay, Bu Nunung, thank you very much.
Okay, yes.
First, I would like to appreciate Lucia for her expertise and giving us enlightenment, especially in doing research and more particularly in research and using the technology for enhancing our teaching. Very excellent, Bu Lucia. Thank you very much. While Lucia is a person who is research-minded, it might be different from me. Even though I'm now in the Institute of Research, LPPM, but I'm not saying that I am one of the person who is research-minded. Maybe the proper label for me is I am the person who is teaching-minded. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy the research, but I enjoy teaching. All right, so yeah, thank you very much for Bu Nunung allowing me to be the, what do you say, speaker and yeah, in this conference and the seminar. And once you, Bu Nunung, told me that I was invited to be one of the speakers in the seminar, then okay, yeah. Firstly, I wanted to refuse the offer, but later I think that because the other lecturers have agreed to become the speakers at the same occasion, so maybe this is my last. What is it? This is the last offer to me because nobody else in the Pasca Sarjana in the PPI then Pun Nuning what is it, allowed me to be one of the speaker in the seminar. Let me share the screen, Bu Nunung. Yeah. Okay. Can you see the screen, the slides?
Yes.
Bu Nunung?
Yes, Pak.
Yes,
Yes,
Pak.
very clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Clearly.
Okay, so a slide different from the title that formerly I put to the department. Yeah, but about the same thing, about the assessment. So finally, I decide the title for my presentation is Aligning Assessments with Learning Models in the New Curriculum. Well, I think the content is just the same. The content is just similar, not declining to what suggested by the department that I should talk about the assessment, especially in the context of new curriculum, in the Freedom to Learn curriculum. Okay. Yeah. Can you see the second slide, Bu? Does it work?
Yeah, Pak. It
Yeah,
works.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, first I would like to start from the self-reflection on testing. Whether it is true or not, it's our, what is it? Our response, yeah, personal response. Teachers enjoy teaching, but they rarely like testing. Do you agree with this opinion? Do you agree with this claim? Do you agree with this statement that teachers enjoy teaching, but they rarely like testing? Yeah, what's your comment? Probably one or two of you, the audience. Is the statement relevant to our reality that teachers enjoy teaching, but they rarely like testing? Any one of you will respond to the statement?
Agree, Bawi.
Agree.
Sometimes, Pak.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
sometimes. Okay. Sometimes, yeah. You can say totally agree, or you can say sometimes agree or partly agree to the statement, but this is what happens to us. Yeah, some of us enjoy teaching, but we do not like to give tests to our students. In reality, we enjoy teaching from week to week, from day to day, while probably if it is not the time for testing, we do not give tests to our students. Just for example, in our courses, yeah, in the postgraduate program of the English department, when there is a, let's say that a fixed schedule for having the courses in the department, from the department, then we just enjoy teaching learning process in the classroom. Either it is a kind of online meeting, or it is a kind of offline meeting, but until we forget that, oh, this is the 8th meeting of our schedule, then we have to give a mid-test to the students. Yeah, if it is not suggested in the schedule, probably I myself will enjoy teaching from time to time, having discussion from time to time, without the, what is it, the plan program for, let's say, for assessment for the test. That's why some of us say that it might be true, the statement here, but it might be not true at all. Okay, so what is meant by this statement is that basically no teacher with only specialty in teaching, no lecturer with only specialty on teaching, because assessing or giving assessment or testing belongs to an integral part of teaching. So we cannot say that I am specialist in teaching, but I'm not specialist in testing, in doing testing, because they are integrated one to another. Yeah, the second claim is that teachers lack assessment literacy. Our knowledge, our perception, our experience in in assessment indeed will affect to the practice of teaching in the classroom. So a lot of research say that a good literacy in assessment will facilitate the teaching. If we do not have any, or we do not have enough understanding, knowledge on assessment, then probably we do not know what happens outside the classroom. Take an example that I am probably one of you, the teacher, usually teach grammar in the classroom. I guess that when you teach grammar or structure in the classroom to your students, then I will guess that the format of your assessment will be multiple choice. Is it? Or let's say in reading classroom, we teach reading from week to week. Then when it comes to the assessment period, I will guess that your format for assessment is in kind of multiple choice, or probably matching, not the others. Why is it so? It's because probably teachers are lazy to know more about assessment literacy. Teachers will not be interested in knowing more about the kinds of assessment different from the traditional one. Now, to prove that we are good at assessment, I will put a Mentimeter link in the chat. Yeah. Sorry. Wait. Okay, sorry. Well, yeah. Sorry, wait a minute. Yeah. I will set the Mentimeter. Okay, so. Lainnya belum bisa. Okay, I put the link of Mentimeter in the chat. So please now you get ready for responding the questions on the survey in the Mentimeter. Get ready with your smartphone, yeah, and try to give response to the items in the Mentimeter. It will tell us our literacy, our practice in doing assessment, and our daily activities. Yang ini. Ini. Bukan. Yeah, okay. Can you see the slide, Bapak Ibu? Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Okay, so there are some audience here, some people in this conference responding to the first question of the assessment statement. The chief reason that teachers should give classroom tests is to determine students' grades. Yeah, you can choose whether you strongly agree with the statement, you agree with the statement, uncertain, disagree, or strongly disagree. Yeah, I find here that, yeah, okay, so I wait until 1 minute, probably, or 30 seconds, yeah, from now. I'm waiting for your response to the first statement. Whether the chief reason that teachers should give classroom tests is to determine students' grades. Yeah, okay. Come on. All right, thank you. Okay. Right. Yeah. So most of the audience in this room choose strongly agree to the statement. It means that what is done in the real classroom is that this is the reason why the teachers give assessment to the students, because they are required to keep scores. Yeah, they are required to give the grades to the students. Just like earlier, I said to you that we keep tests just because it is time for testing. So not we keep tests because it is the way how I can monitor my teaching. All right, so this is true that most of the respondents in this room selects, strongly agree. When you do the testing just because it is the time for testing, because you are required to give grades to the students, or let's say the the report to the headmaster or to the principal. Okay, thank you. Now I move to the second statement. Yeah. Okay, now come on. You respond to the second statement. Teachers should typically plan instruction that focuses on the skills or knowledge represented by a test. Okay. Do you agree? Do you disagree to the statement? I'm waiting your response. Teachers should typically plan instruction that focuses on the skills and knowledge represented by a test. Yeah, I'm waiting for you for about 30 seconds again. Okay. Yeah, okay. Only few of you. Okay. Only very few of you respond to this statement. Yeah, that's right. That when you said that you agree or you strongly agree to this statement, it means that this is how assessment must be done in the classroom. So do not teach students with the test items, but you teach students with the competencies represented in the skills and knowledge. All right. Probably we are familiar with the saying test-driven teaching or test-directed teaching. Teacher or teachers teach the students because they are encountered that the time for examination comes closer to them. Then they have preparation in what is it? Practicing how to find the correct answers from the test items. Yeah. Even they spend day to day to prepare or to discuss the content of the test items. Okay, I think that basically this is not the way how teaching must be directed. Teaching must be directed to achieve the knowledge and the skills in the curriculum. While not teaching is directed for accomplishing or finishing the test items as the sample of the examination. That's why you must agree to this statement that the instruction should focus on the skill and knowledge. And the skills and knowledge represented in the test. So, but do not put it backward, that you give your teaching, you teach your students about the test items, while you forget the required skills and knowledge of the curriculum. Next now, the third, in that classroom test, teachers should only use items that can be scored objectively. In a classroom test, teachers should only use items that can be scored objectively. Do you agree or do you disagree to the statement? Okay, yeah. I prepared 10 questions, but probably we're not going to display the 10 questions all to you, because I can guess that what is it? Some of us will what is it? Give response differently due to the practices or due to the beliefs on doing the assessment in the classroom. When these questions what is it, requires you to judge whether teachers should only use items that can be scored objectively. 3 of you said that you disagree with the statement. Yeah, of course, this is not a wise decision to give only tests objectively, meaning that you give objective tests to the students without considering that there are some other types of tests which are applied to the same topic or to the same materials to the students. All right, so you're right. The audience, yeah, 5 of you, or let's say that you disagree and you strongly disagree with the statement. But 1 of you agree, strongly agree that this statement is true. So maybe it might because in the practice, in the classroom, in the daily practice of your teaching, you give objective tests all the time to the students. Yeah, you never give other types of tests to the students because of some reason. I'm not going to say that it is, what is it, wrong. Giving objective tests is something common doing in the classroom, yeah, done by the teachers in the classroom, but do not only use the objective tests the whole time in your teaching, because there are some other types or some other modes of the assessment. Yeah. So this is the sample of how to prove that teachers have different literacy in assessment due to some factors. Probably because maybe he lacks information, she lacks knowledge about assessment, she lacks experience in assessment, or maybe just because this is the assessment which is required by the local government. Yeah, this is the type of assessment which is recommended by the school, for example. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop the the survey here with only 3 items of the 10 questions that I will share to you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. And now back to our topic. Yeah, Bapak Ibu. Thank you very much for your patience. Yeah. All right. So let's see. The next, I will tell you. Yeah, this is not new to you because I know it's different from what Bu Lucia has explained to us, that it seems she is specialist in research and especially in technology information. What I shared to you here is just only a reminder. Let's say that this is a kind of materials to refresh our understanding on assessment. Nothing new actually. Yeah, test and assessment. Okay, so this is the common what is it? Theory of test, common definition of test. Test is a matter of measuring person's ability, knowledge, performance in a given domain. Well, assessment is broader than a test. Yeah, it encompasses various methods and tools used to get the evidence, make judgment, and evaluate overall learning or performance. But for the sake of our understanding in our context of classroom tests, our classroom assessment, so some teachers will use the terminology interchangeably. So we can use test or assessment in our context without any serious difference, even though there is, of course. But for our purpose in this discussion, then, yeah, test is like similar to the assessment. Okay, and yeah. So what I want to highlight in this discussion is that the difference between traditional assessment and alternative assessment. Sometimes experts will call it alternative assessment, or some of them will label it as the authentic assessment. So alternative assessment is sometimes regarded as the alternative assessment. Authentic assessment and alternative assessment similar. And this is the differences between a traditional assessment and authentic or alternative assessment taken from Brown's book. Yeah. So yeah, one shot, the DICE exam usually for traditional assessment, but in alternative assessment or authentic assessment, it's continuous long-term assessment. So it's not given only one time, once in the learning process, but continuous long-term assessment from time to time, from hour to hour, from minute to minute probably, yeah, from week to week, not only limited to a period, let's say in the mid period, in the midterm period, or in the last period of the classroom. Time multiple choice format by the alternative on the authentic assessment use the free response format on time. Well, we say on time because we do not give students time limit to finish the project within only 1 hour or 2 hours. Yeah, it takes time usually. the authentic assessment or the alternative assessment usually takes time, and it's wise to keep them on a very limited time in terms of hour or in terms of minutes. So it can be accomplished within, let's say, 2 days or 1 week, even more than that. They contextualize test items and contextualize communicative tasks. Yeah. Well, okay, so you do this. They contextualize test items that, yeah, we can see from the common test items we encounter in our practice. Yeah. Let's say from the multiple choice format that we say number 1, number 2 has no relation one to another. Number 2 and number 3, item number 2 and number 3 has no relation one to another. Yeah, because items are decontextualized. Yeah, they are not related one to another. Okay. Score surface for feedback, individualized feedback and watchback. All right. So in the tertiary assessment, the score gained by the individual student will demonstrate the, what is it? The final, let's say, knowledge on the final competence of that individual students from the result of the test, from the result of the assessment. But it's different from the alternative or the authentic assessment, because scores is not only indicated by numbers. Scores is not only, students' achievement is not only indicated by the score in form of numbers. Let's say that one gets 90, another one gets 70, another one gets 60, and so on. But in authentic assessment, yeah, the scoring judgment can be very qualitative, yeah, not only in numeric form. Focus on right answer, open-ended, creative answer, summative, formative, yeah, oriented to product, oriented to process. Yeah, foster extrinsic motivation, fosters intrinsic motivation. Okay, so who motivates the students to work hard, to study hard in testing? It can be people surrounding him or people surrounding her, but it can be he himself or herself. While in the traditional assessment, let's say in the last time we had the UN, ujian negara, ujian nasional. This is very one shot standardized exam. Yeah, students work hard, students tried hard to prepare the examination just because when they get good grades or good marks in the examination, they would be accepted to enter to continue the study to good schools, for example. This is very instrumental, not integrated. Yeah. So the students work hard, the students study hard just because, not because they want to know something, not because they want to acquire something, some competencies, but they work hard, they study hard just because the parents probably force them to study hard to get good grades in the examination. So this is very traditional, yeah. Okay, and then this is the, now we have to move to what is in the curriculum now. Does the curriculum now suggest that teachers should use the similar and the same types of tests, which are, let's say, commonly practiced by the teachers up to now by using the traditional assessments, yeah, in the forms of multiple choice, in the forms of matching, in the forms of completion, short answer, and so on? Or is there something different in the assessment principle dealing with the new curriculum? Because now, if not mistaken, beginning from 2020, the government launched a new program, yeah, under the title of Kurikulum Merdeka, Freedom to Learn Curriculum. Then, of course, it will bring about the consequences with using the different types of assessment. And this is the suggested learning models on the basis of the new curriculum. Number one is that project-based learning, which involves students working on extended project or investigation, requires them to apply knowledge and skills in the real-world problems or challenges. This is very demanded because it will promote the critical thinking, collaboration, and problem skills from the student's perspective. Yeah, this is, I think this is not new actually. Some years ago, we were familiar with the term problem-based learning. Even when let's say we find in the curriculum of PPK, for example, yeah, it is very recommended that the whole program, in the whole program, the teachers and the students of the PPK should apply the project-based learning. It happens in the under levels of schooling, for example, in the undergraduate program, or even in the postgraduate program, like some of us in this room. The second is inquiry-based learning. Yeah, inquiry-based learning for students exploring questions, problems, topics through investigation, research, and discovery. It emphasizes students' curiosity, encourages independent thinking, fosters a deeper understanding of concepts. So similar to the project-based learning is inquiry-based learning. That, of course, and then the inquiry-based learning, the students must find something, get something, discover something. Not only, choosing, not only matching, not only, finding, but investigating, exploring. The third models of learning suggested by the new curriculum is the so-called cooperative learning. So cooperative learning involves students working together in small groups to achieve common learning goals. Yeah, you probably familiar with the 4 C's. So now until the present time, we get the terminology of 6 C's and so on. Yeah, among others, collaboration, communication, creativity, yeah, in learning. So cooperative learning is very suggested in the new curriculum. Do not only teach students by preaching, explaining, but let them cooperate with them, one to another. Let them do something cooperatively with the peers, with the classmates in the classroom. Yeah, number 4 is flipped classroom. Yeah. So we get knowledge, we get information from Lucia when she explained a lot about what is flipped classroom. Okay, this is basically not new, but rarely practiced in the classroom, Lucia, yeah. In the literature, of course, flipped classroom is, was introduced some time ago. Yeah, probably more than 10 years ago or longer than that. But it's rarely practiced by teachers, especially teachers in our surroundings here in Indonesia. And this is very interesting, very challenging, very inspiring, method of teaching by using flipped classroom. We invert the activities. We come to the class not by presenting the materials, but we come to the class by checking what the students have learned, prior to the presence meeting. This is in the flipped classroom. And based on the Lucia's research, it affects, very effectively in bringing the students into a good improvement of the learning outcomes by doing flipped classroom. So, of course, I myself will try, even though, one or two times, I try to give, students materials just before the next meeting, but not on the basis of research. It is only a kind of probably a practice. I know from the literature that flipped classroom is the inverted activities done by the teacher and the students. And one day I asked my students to prepare something, probably towards video, or to learn the PowerPoints that I sent to them. And then the next day, I and the students discuss the materials. This is a flipped classroom. Problem-based learning is also suggested in the curriculum. Okay, so the students are encouraged to solve a problem. Of course, it is not easy to be conducted in the classroom, especially in the English class, because when they are confronted with what problem they find in the reality, then it is not easy to get the answer, because theoretically problem based is not talking about the language. It's about the competencies to solve the problem. So language is the second or the third problem, the third matter in the classroom. The most important thing is that the students are able to get the solution to a problem that is exposed to them, and it is not easy. Even though I know that some of teachers, from Jepara, from Semarang, probably have practiced a lot about the problem-based learning. And then the last is differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction as let's say the philosophy of the differentiated instruction, pembelajaran berdifferensiasi, will encourage teachers to be aware that they teach students with a lot of differences. So it means that we do not teach students in a uniform style. They come from different families, they come from different backgrounds. they come from different experience, they come from different intelligence probably, they come from different hobbies, habits, and so on and so on. So they are different. They are not the same. That's why ideally we treat them differently. We give them materials differently. We give them tests differently. We assess them differently. The question is, can we do that in our big classroom with 30 students in our classroom? Of course, it is a question that, what is it? Put to you, put to us. A question which is addressed to us. Can we handle differences in the classroom? Can we have a time or let's say precisely, can we provide time for them individually to give them treatment differently? Yeah, this is another question on that. Okay, so this is the learning models that's suggested by the new curriculum. Now, among the 6 models of the learning, then it will, what is it? Affect to what kind of assessment relevant to this model. It's not wise, when we give a problem-based learning to our students, but then finally we give them tests in the form of multiple choice. Of course, it will be ironic. We give them project-based learning, but finally, or at last, our our instrument for measuring the learning outcome is in the form of multiple choice. Of course, we will do that because it's very far different from the requirement for the project, or the requirement for the problem-based learning, right? So that's why we will know later what kind of assessment, what kind of tests appropriate or in line with the curriculum. Then we know authentic assessment, of course. Yeah, of course, some of us are familiar, maybe all of us are familiar with the authentic assessment. Okay, that authentic assessment is not traditional assessment. It's not in the form of multiple choice. It's not in the form of matching. It is not in the form of short answer. It's not in the form of recognition, but it is a kind of production test. All right, so this is what is authentic then? Method of assessment in which students are asked to perform real-world tasks that demonstrate meaningful application of knowledge and skills. This is probably general description, general definition of authentic assessment.
Excuse me.
Students, pardon, bro?
Yeah, excuse me. You have like 10 minutes left.
How long?
10 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Okay, thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Method of assessment in which students are asked to perform real-world tasks that demonstrate meaningful application of knowledge and skills. So the very, what is it? Sexy word is real-world tasks. Yeah, sexy word. Real-world tasks right here. What is meant by real-world tasks? This is the tasks which corresponds to the real world. What is meant by the real world? This is the tasks which are required in the community, outside the classroom, not only in the classroom. Just take an example. When we got the causes of reading, for example, reading class. Yeah. So students join the reading class, yeah, from day to day or from week to week. And at the end of the meeting, at the end of the session, at the end of the period, the teacher will give them test. And the test, I guess, is in the form of multiple choice. So in the real world, let's say in homes, yeah, in house, yeah, in the house, when we read something from newspaper, for example, all right, from, let's say, a label that we are interested in, and then we read the labels, we read the manuals, we read the materials, then will it be checked by others, yeah, in the house, let's say our siblings, our parents, yeah, and asking about what we read by giving us a kind of multiple choice items? No, never, of course. What is asked by our let's say our brother or our sister is that, what do you read? Not by exposing the, yeah, after you read the paper, then this is the question for you. No. So giving such a kind of question is not realistic. Yeah, it's not real world. Yeah, rather than giving a kind of questions in the multiple choice. Yeah, the brother or the sister will ask you, what do you read? Tell me, what do you read? So telling what we read, yeah, explaining what we read is a kind of real world tasks. Yeah, recovered by the surroundings. Yeah, so that's why this is called authentic assessment, just because we are not only recognizing, yeah, which one or which answers is correct or not, but we produce something, probably by using our own words, yeah, by retelling, by yeah, giving arguments to what we read, actually. Yeah. Okay. So the productive response to a stimulus or stimuli, yeah, which representing the application of our knowledge, which representing the skills that we acquire up to now. This is the authentic assessment. And this is the last, yeah, kinds of authentic assessment that we can do in the classroom is a portfolio. All right. So, yeah, but students of the postgraduate program can be inspired by this, by, let's say, when you are now not choosing your topic for your thesis, then why don't you choose one of them? Let's say using portfolio as one of the assessment model in the teaching. Yeah, portfolio assessment is authentic. Why don't you use that frequently in the classroom? Yeah, based on the research, this kind of assessment, yeah, works very well, yeah, in promoting the students' outcome, yeah, and learning outcomes. All right. The second is categorized into performance assessment. Yeah, performance assessment comprising some of these, yeah, oral interviews, yeah. Yeah, sometimes we need to give students different methods of assessment, not only by giving them tests, for example, but why don't you call them one by one? Yeah, all in groups, yeah, by having oral interview. By having oral interview, we can detect the students' progress in learning. We can measure the students' understanding of something by giving oral interview. storytelling, text retelling, for example, like what I explained just now. So after reading, yeah, the students need to retell the content of the story. They have to retell in their own words about the story, for example. Writing essay, yeah, or reference paper or journal can be interesting too. Yeah, it's a kind of performance assessment. Project exhibitions, right? So I'm glad when the students in the end of the semester they have to perform something. Let's say the drama performance. Yeah. Indeed, drama performance is very relevant to the performance-based assessment, because in the drama performance they can express what they want to express using the language, of course English in this. Yeah, this is a good example of a project, yeah, that is the drama performance. Or by doing other activities, then drama performance, experiment, demonstration, constructive response items, and observation. And the last is the self-assessment, non-teacher assessment. And the present curriculum, when I observe the book from the government, and in every part of the book, in each chapter, in the end of the chapter, there is a kind of self reflection. This is relevant to the self-assessment, because the students themselves have to reflect themselves whether they have learned something or they have not learned something from the book, for example, from the chapter, and then it will be very valuable input for the teachers to know that the students get difficulties in some materials, but they are strong in certain materials and so on. So, Pununung, there are some other slides, but I will give the slides to the students, the file to the audience, so that they can read by themselves, and the rest of the time will be spent on probably discussion, Pununung. Thank you very much. That's all, Pununung.
Thank you, Pak Mi, for very thorough, very detailed presentation on assessment, on types of assessment, and how to conduct those assessment on the students. Thank you very much. And now we come to the discussion session with both speakers. So, Bapak Ibu peserta, if you have questions to the speakers, you can ask directly, or you can send your questions to the chat box. But first of all, I would like to read the question, and this is intended for Bu Lucia. Bu Lucia masih di sini, Bu? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Bu. So from your talk, there are several questions directed to you. The first one comes from one of the participants. So the question comes like this: when we use the program, like the use of the games, what will we change the curriculum? So I guess this one is like how the implementation of games can change the way curriculum was implemented in the classroom. So these participants particularly want to know how the way that you use games can affect the curriculum. Yeah.
Can I know there are 4 questions from this chat.
Okay.
I have already made note.
Okay.
Some of what my explanation can answer to the other also.
Okay.
Can I answer directly to 4 of them?
Yeah, sure. One by one, maybe we will switch from one question to, and then from you for you, and then to Pak. So we will take turn.
Okay. So I will start from Ibu Nurjana. The question from Ibu Nurjana: when we use this program, like the use of the games, what will we change the curriculum first? Thank you, Bu Nurjana, for the questions. Actually, using technology is not about changing curriculum. It's about changing mindset, changing paradigm. So when we use technology in the classroom, honestly, we don't need to change curriculum because the content of the teaching material are still the same. We just need to adjust the way we teach, the approach. Maybe we made a little bit change to the RPS, okay, because you need to mention that you use flipped classroom, you use project-based learning, but the materials, it's up to you, the same. So we just need to actually adjust our mindset to the needs of nowadays trends. Technology is not new things actually. It's the fact. Fakta yang ada di depan mata. Means like flipped classroom is from 1992. It's a long time ago. Project-based, everything. But now it seems it appears so intensively because the world changes a lot after the pandemic. So teachers, students, the stakeholders need to change the way they study, need to change the education paradigm. That's Bu Nurjana. So actually you don't need a lot to change the curriculum. The problem is not in the curriculum, but the method. Adjust, yes. I mean, you put some approach and technology in your curriculum. I think that's my answer for Ibu Nurjana, Bu Nuraini.
Okay. Bu Nurjana, if you're still here, I hope Polisia's explanation helps you to understand more about the difference between changing the curriculum and changing the mindset. Because if you change the curriculum, it will take like extensive studies and you have to involve so many people. But changing the curriculum, it just needs you to
Yes.
do that. Yeah. Okay, Bu Nurjana, you're still here, and I see that you're opening your mic. Would you like to respond to Lucia's
Okay.
question? Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Bu Lucia. Your suggestion, yeah, I see about our problem. Yeah, maybe we don't change the curriculum, but we use the method to develop the material. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe of RPS, maybe I will look at more. But for curriculum, no. Okay. Just to develop the method of the materials. Okay. Thank you, Bu Lucia.
You are most welcome.
Okay.
Bu Nurjana.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Nurjana. There's one question that comes from YouTube channel ini, Pak, for Pak Wiyaka. What are the differences between tests that are oriented to product and the one that is oriented to process? So the asker want to know the differences between those two tests. Untuk Pak Wi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the question from someone. Yeah, from someone.
Yeah, someone not here, Pak. So
Not here. Oh,
yeah, this is
okay.
also like broadcasted online.
That's why I
on
tried
YouTube.
to share the chat, but not fine yet.
It's on YouTube, Pak. So
Oh,
this is
okay.
broadcasted live as well.
Thank
So
you.
there is some.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So
thank
what
you.
is the difference between the orientation, product oriented, yeah, product oriented and process oriented? So as I, at a glance, I explain in the differences of traditional and alternative assessment. And one of the difference is that traditional assessment tends to be product oriented, when the authentic assessment is the process oriented, or not only product but also process oriented. What is meant by that statement is that do not only test students, yeah, in the end of our process, in the end of our teaching. Let's say it is limited to the what is it, semester, or to the what is it, to the period, yeah. So when we when we give a test to our students, and we rely on the result of the test on only at one time, that is one occasion in the probably mid test or in the final test, then we do the test on the basis of product oriented, not on the process oriented. Like, take an example in the final examination of Ujian Nasional some time ago. So Ujian Nasional is a kind of example of product oriented. Yeah, because this is very summative, of course. How can we imagine that the learning had in 3 years is only determined by the achievement in 2 hours in the UN? This is very product oriented. So the process of learning from day to day, from semester to semester, from year to year, yeah, is not counted, because the success of a student is only determined by one shot of test, that is in the Ujian Nasional. This is product oriented test too. Well, the process, of course, yeah, we follow the process of the individuals from time to time, from week to week, yeah, from semester to semester, to see the progress. Maybe the starting on the start is basically different from student to student. We have to know that the start is different. They do not come from different starting point. They do not start the learning from the exactly same competencies. Yeah, that's why we follow the progress of the individual from time to time. Okay, so we appreciate, yeah, we count the progress, not only we count the result of the jump from one activity, jump from one competence to another. Yeah, probably this is the what is meant by the statement product oriented and process oriented. Yeah, that's
Okay.
all.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Pavi. That was like really very good answer. So that hopefully that the participants here can differentiate between product focused and process focused. That in the process focus, that you pay attention to the process, not on the product. So it different kinds of tests. All right, moving on to the next question. Pulusia, this one's like, the next question is for Pulusia. In the flipped classroom approach, is the material provided only limited or giving videos, or can it also be a sheet of paper containing materials to be studied for the next meeting? Ini Bu, pertanyaannya seperti itu Pulusia. Silakan Ibu. Masih mute Ibu.
Yeah, I just lose the internet connection. So is it question from Pak Eko?
I think so.
Okay. the question from Pak Eko Susanto is, in the flipped classroom approach, is the material provided only limited to giving video, or it can also be a sheet of paper containing material to students? Is it right?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, Pak Eko Susanto. Pak Eko Susanto is my student who is very creative. During my lecture time, he tried to adopt it using technology. Thank you, Pak Eko. Thank you, because it is the proof that you really engage to my classroom. So in a flipped classroom, of course, it is not limited only to video. Even you can give quiz. You can use gamification as your pre-class activity, like Kahoot, Quizlet, or Duolingo. So in a classroom, you just ask question directly to student. It's possible. You can also use PPT slide. Of course, video is the easiest way. Why? Because you can find on a YouTube anything you want, especially for English classroom. You will be surprised, anything for writing, speaking, listening, reading materials, they are all on video. The basic thing is put something interesting, immersive, interactive. If you just use sheet of paper, imagine, do you think your student, especially if your students are elementary school, I believe the students nowadays do not like sheet paper, a piece of paper as the assignment. So it's not about it may not or it may, but choose the very interactive things, immersive things. So video can attract students' focus. At least they will see the video instead of reading a sheet of paper. Quiz. Automatically, student will be focused if you give quiz. After video, you ask question to Kahoot. The question is related to the video. The free Kahoot is, it's easy. The free one is Quizlet. Duolingo is also free. So it's not about a sheet of paper, but interacting or immersive. Immersive means attract students' attention. So Pak Eko Susanto is one of my students who is adopted the VR-based learning using virtual reality. So it's very good, Pak Eko. Congratulations for changing your mindset to use the technology. So this is good.
Thank you.
Because you are teacher of elementary school. I think basic skill lies in the elementary school. So just think about that. You are very important teacher for the lifelong learning of students' life. The basic skill is in elementary school. I told my student many times, I really appreciate and admire the preschool teacher or elementary school teacher. It's easy for me to teach in university because they already prepare everything. So am I answering your question, Pak Eko? You can use anything for the flip classroom.
Yes, ma'am. Even if I start the class with a video that presented in the LCD projector, ma'am, before we start the material.
So the idea of the classroom is giving the video online.
Oh,
Because if you have, in Inggris, you have LMS. Remember, I always put video before the classroom.
okay.
But for your school, you can create the WhatsApp group. You can send to the students. That's the easiest way. And then in the classroom, you just review, give space or more time to students for discussing. That's the idea of flipped classroom. So do not turn on the same video before in a classroom. It doesn't mean anything. In this case, you can check your student, they are focusing on your instruction or not before class. That's also important to follow the instruction of the teacher. The teacher needs to guide or lead the students to follow the teacher instruction. That's the rule of the classroom, I think. Maybe at the beginning, it's not easy because they are familiar with homework is always after class.
Yes.
Suddenly, the teacher inverted giving something before the class. But
Okay.
it takes time, but gradually it will be good. Believe me, it works well. I do it in my classroom also. Thank
Okay,
you,
ma'am.
Pak.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bu Nuraini, please.
Okay, yeah. So that means by changing his mindset, Pak Eko, berarti pembelajarannya Lucia di kelas berhasil ya, Bu?
Terima
Changing
kasih.
the mindset, yeah, of the students into becoming a more technology aware teachers. Yeah.
Pak Eko langsung beli VR, Bu.
Iya itu. Jadi langsung
The VR is very cheap. 22,000.
Okay. Okay. The next question is for Pak Wiyaka. What are the differences between the tests that are oriented? Oh, ini sudah tadi ya. Saya baca di atasnya. Ke bawahnya Bapak. Pak Wiyaka, do you agree that summative tests will be skipped in Merdeka curriculum? If yes, why? Itu Pak, pertanyaannya begitu Pak. You're still on mute, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Amin. Ask the questions. Yeah. Thank you, Pak Amin.
You're
Do you
welcome, sir.
agree that summative tests will be skipped in the Merdeka curriculum? Okay. I'm not saying that summative tests will be skipped or will be erased from the curriculum. No. As you know that in the present curriculum, there are three kinds of tests which are very always mentioned in the curriculum. There's one is the diagnostic assessment. The second one is the formative assessment, and the third is the summative assessment. So in the context of assessment literature, the three kinds of assessment will exist forever, I think, I mean, yeah, in my opinion. So even the curriculum changes from time to time, but the labels of the names of the assessment will always exist, yeah, in there. That is the now teachers are introduced with the diagnostic assessment, even though it is a long terminology, yeah, long old terminology for assessment, the diagnostic, yeah, that teachers have to do prior to the teaching of new materials. They have to do the diagnostic assessment. Secondly, about the formative assessment, yeah, of course, in any teaching, formative assessment is frequently done by the teacher, by the teachers, in whatever forms or whatever modes, yeah, whatever tools, yeah, they have to use in the formative assessment. And at the same time, I answered questions from Pak Yosi, yeah, because he is asking about
nyambung kayaknya Pak ya.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, Pak Yosi, you asked me about how to document, yeah, how to document the formative assessment. Well, now in the market, there are some tools which can be used by the teachers in doing the formative assessment. Let's say the online assessment, online formative assessment. Yeah, many things. I know that you are working in the education technology. You are working in the office of education agencies. Yeah, you know much about what kind of tools that can be applied, can be used by teachers in doing the formative assessment. Either it is the online or offline. Yeah, and the question whether the teacher can document let's say the assessment, formative assessment. Yeah, depends on the teachers themselves, whether they have to keep the result on the result of the assessment in the form of digital, or they will keep the result of the assessment, formative assessment, I mean, and kind of the let's say yeah, in papers. Yeah, so it depends on the teachers, but when the teacher use the let's say the tools which are now commonly found in the market, then one of the advantage is that the teacher can keep it simply by restoring the result of the formative assessment in the files. Yeah, so when they need to open again the result of the formative, yeah, then probably she or he needs to compare between the previous formative and the next formative. He can open the file again, and it will make them convenient. Yeah, and I'm not saying, Pak Amin, not saying that summative assessment will be erased from the curriculum, yeah, will be banned from the curriculum. No, I guess that it is the theory of testing, the theory of assessment, that it will always happen, yeah, and the practice of education anywhere in the world, the so-called diagnostic and formative, and also the summative. I mean, yeah, that's my answer. Did I answer your question, Pak Amin, Pak Yosi, ya?
Oke. Ini masih nyambung Bapak terkait dengan assessment juga di sini dari Bu Yeni nih Pak. Is it possible to teach less material but more assessment, especially in Merdeka curriculum?
Yeah, is it possible to teach less material but more assessment, especially in Merdeka curriculum? I'm not saying that less material. What do you mean by less material? Because
Bu Yeni jelaskan Bu.
the students can access, yeah, Bu Yeni, yeah, the students can access the materials by themselves. Yeah, as you see, as you know now, that the function of teacher is only a facilitator, right? Not only a resource person in the classroom, the only resource person in the classroom, but a facilitator, meaning that he only, let's say, gives them what is it, the links of materials. Yeah, she only gives the students yeah, the materials online, and then the students themselves to access the materials. Yeah, so giving link is very trivial, right? Very small, very little material, very small material. Yeah, but what is in the link? Yeah, it will be different, right? The students will get a lot about something. Yeah, the students will learn a lot about something, about the topic, about the materials. Yeah, unlimited even, right? From the link. Okay, that's my answer. Bu Yeni, yeah.
Thank you, Pak Wi, because it happens in my school actually that after pandemic is over, so it seems the teachers still very limited to use the technology and still use the online way to teach the students. So we sometimes forget to send the links or to ask the student to find the materials. We frankly speaking, that the teachers still use kind of the facilitator, but from him as the source of the knowledge. So we have to change this kind of
Okay.
mindset actually.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bavi.
Okay. Okay. Puyani, thank you. So
Yeah.
at least I agree with you that what is it? Yeah, during the pandemic, the teachers could not do many things. Yeah, a lot of things to students, but now it's normal, right? Now it's already normal. Then the teacher functions as a facilitator, as a manager, as a motivator, and so on in the classroom. Yeah, the time before the pandemic. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pak Wi. This is one more, I think, related to assessment. From Pak Arif Ihwanuddin ini, Bapak.
How about diagnostic
yeah.
assessment apply in the new curriculum? Well, I think Pak Ihwan, you are in the field of education. Yeah, you know more about what the department. Yeah, what is it? Your office of education asks you to do in dealing with the diagnostic assessment. Well, now there are some trainings about doing diagnostic assessment. Okay, so I suggest that Pak Iwan, probably you had better follow one of the training programs. So you have better join the any workshop, any seminar, or any meetings about the diagnostic assessment. So when you ask me diagnostic assessment apply in the new curriculum, I think this is a good way of knowing how the entry behavior of the students. Yeah. So entry behavior of the students must be identified first before the teacher proceed to give new materials. Yeah. As let's say this is the earlier input to teachers before they do the job to teach students. Yeah. So he or she has to map, yeah, the students' competencies, yeah, map the students' knowledge, yeah, about something before before he or she proceed to continue introducing the new materials. Yeah. And I think in the next curriculum, even I guess Pak Iwan, diagnostic assessment is still implemented, yeah, still suggested in the new curriculum. I heard that in the near future, not long time from now, yeah, there will be a new curriculum. New curriculum replace the present curriculum. I don't know why is it so. Yeah. Okay, Pak Iwan, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Wi. We still have one more or two more questions to Bu Lucia. Ini Bu, what do you think about the massive use of AI lately, especially its use in the learning process? We can't argue that some students use AI to work on tasks. Thank you, Bu Lucia. So what do you think about the use of AI for learning?
Okay, thank you for the question from Ibu Tri Yuli Blora. Okay, in this study, I use game-based learning and flipped classroom. It's only one of the educational technology that become trends lately. When you ask me about AI or artificial intelligence, actually, this is about education technology based on artificial intelligence. This is the most trend in the last 10 years until now, 2023. Artificial intelligence or AI is very well regarded one of the most discussed technology trends in the world. Due to its very smart approach to various systems, and the world become trust its technology and its development. This is the fact. We cannot argue. as I mentioned before, we don't learn technology actually, but we have to face it. The technology is in front of us everywhere. We live in the technology. So of course we have to adjust. That's what I mentioned before. Also, we need to save or change our mindset or paradigm in teaching in the classroom. I also use AI, and the most popular is ChatGPT, chatbot. Chatbot is part of natural language processing. Actually, we have enjoyed this NLP before. When you enjoy the video and then you turn on the text, you can see from speech to text. What is the teacher talking about is written on the text. That's natural language processing, speech to text. Or you write something and then it pronounced. So it's text to speech. That is AI. So everything is about AI. Who doesn't know chatbot now, ChatGPT? My research lately with Upgris is using chatbot to write abstract for students of non-English department, student of Bahasa Indonesia or Pendidikan. They need to write down abstract of the article. Even though they don't learn English extensively like student of English department, they can write a very good abstract for their articles. I also apply AI chatbot in my classroom. For the writing assignment, they can use chatbot. But tools is tools. Teachers controls the tools. So tools is only a tool. We need to control tools. Not tools control us, be careful. So using AI technology, teacher can prioritize time to students instead of talking. We need to supervise the use of AI in the classroom. So teacher need to equip their self with the knowledge of technology. Imagine if you are student, if you are teacher of elementary school or primary school, maybe the teacher give assignment like, please write down a story of Pangeran Diponegoro. Chatbot can resolve it. Who knows? Because the parents of your students are very sophisticated using chatbot. So they can teach their children to do the homework. So what happened with the teacher? You must be curious why the text is very good. So you need to supervise. You cannot ignore using or reject the assignment because they use chatbot. Chatbot is everywhere. For speaking, I also use chatbot, Replica, Elsa, Lucy. That's the AI chatbot for speaking. I also apply in the classroom because my student doesn't want to talk to me on online class. So what should I do to improve their speaking? I use chatbot. They send me the video. So this is what happened with assessment with Pak Biaka. My assessment is very easy for me because I put on a flip, student upload the video. I can do the scoring anytime and it's more objective. Talking about assessment, it's not easy for teacher if you see the students speak and then we directly give feedback. Because we are busy to look at the student and to look at the rubrics, the points of assessment. So using media, using technology is very good. I ask all the students using AI and put the video online. When I have free time, I can see, I can check. So I can memorize my student. My student totally 35. How can I memorize this? A speak like this, B speak like this, and so on. I just watch their video. Many years ago, we have to invite native speaker to speak with our students. Not anymore. Now we use AI chatbot, Elsa, Avatar, something like that. They are native speaker. So my students now talk with native speaker as their friends. It's surprising. I use it in semester. This is my first semester in Inggris, and I directly use AI for my speaking class. And I also make research on it. Pak Wiyaka helped me because I'm not familiar with the system in Inggris, not yet. So, okay, I make the proposal about my class. I made a research on my class, my own class. So if you are a teacher, you want to write article, the best article comes from the best research. The best research comes from your own class. So you evaluate yourself, you evaluate your students. That is a very good research. You don't need to go anywhere to find the place for research for participants. The easiest way is our own student, our own classroom. Action research, PTIK, quasi-experiment, that's the best research in our classroom. Instead of going around everywhere to find the place for research using AI. With AI, you can do building lesson plan, writing emails, test and grading, assessment, creating rubrics, providing students with feedback using AI, artificial intelligence. Even I just read the news from Harvard University. That's the best university in United States. They use AI as professor because professor is very busy. So they use AI to teach students. It's amazing, isn't it? But not in Indonesia. We still need teacher, not AI. Maybe they are too busy. They use AI. Okay, I think Putri Yuli, we cannot argue that students use AI. You just need to control. AI is only technology. In the hands of good teacher, technology become good tools. Remember, teacher controls the technology. So if our student learn technology, teachers should learn more than the student. This is my suggestion. Okay, thank you for Putri Yuli.
Yeah.
Do I directly answer question from Pak Admin, Bu Nunu?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
While you're still on the topic. Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Felicia.
Pak Amin Wibowo asked me question how to enhance student HOTS for junior high school using flipped classroom. Flipped classroom has been released in 2012 by Berkman. Actually, the benefit of flipped classroom is to change, to shift from teacher center to student center. Using flipped classroom means teacher give material before class. Using LMS or using WhatsApp group or everything, the media, social network where you can share material, video, PPT, everything, or small quiz like Kahoot, quizzes or Duolingo, you can give as pre-class. And then you give more time for classroom discussion. Automatically, when you give time for discussion, student will speak more. In this classroom activity, when the students discuss more, asking questions, teacher give feedback, peer assessment, I mean their friends give feedback. This is the process of cultivating high order thinking. Evaluate, analyzing, and create. Because in the discussion, student will ask questions. The simplest ways, when the student asks question, they create something. And then maybe their friend during the discussion will say, your answer is not correct. That's the process evaluate. Because other friend knows how to say, this is not correct. That's feedback. That's why flipped classroom it's a media for cultivating high order thinking skill. No matter in elementary school, high school, junior high school, it's the media that the teachers create. The teacher create discussion. You can discuss, you can ask your student discuss since elementary school, junior high school, high school. Give them case study, topic. When you give them topic to discuss, mean you give them case study. So maybe for junior high school, you know the level of junior high school. For elementary school, you know the level of elementary school. For higher education, K-12, you can give more tough. You can combine classroom activity with project-based learning. So when the student have opportunity to analyze, to evaluate, and to create something, it means that's high order thinking skill. You cannot teach high order thinking. You have to make the situation appears from the activity. Let them discuss. Give more time to students. Why? Because the student knows the material before class. Teacher becomes facilitator in the class because students has prior learning. So I also answer Bu Yuni's questions. What is the challenge? The challenges are students need to change your mindset. That's number one. Don't be hesitant. Jangan ragu-ragu, Bu. Because you are the dalang, you are the controller of the class. You can try anything in the classroom. You know when it works well or it doesn't work well. So trial and error. Whatever this is good or bad, you can try. This is your students. You never know the result if you never tried it before. So that's my answer for Pak Amir and Bu Yeni about flipped classroom. Actually, it's already 10 years, more than 10 years. The truth is changing mindset is not easy because changing mindset is leaving the comfort zone. Meninggalkan kenyamanan.
Although it has been 10 years, Ma'am Lucia, but I just know after in your class. Thank you.
Okay, so you better start now, Bu, because now you realize.
Yes, I will try, ma'am.
Because you know, when I give you material before, actually, we did flip classroom. And then in the classroom, I directly ask question, have you seen the video I shared last night? What do you think? I remember only Bu Dwi answer my question. What is the meaning of the parents? In this case, I know that Bu Dwi already see my film, my video I share. Because she was asking something that was on the video. So it works. Some of you are still surprised maybe. What is the video? We don't have time. Actually, that's why the video should be short. In micro, we talk about micro learning. The video is only 3. Choose the shortest video. 3 minutes to 5 minutes. If you teach grammar, you can find video of present tense. Just show the video of present tense in a very attractive way. And then in the classroom, give me one sentence in present tense directly. This is creative. Cultivate high order thinking. Create the sentence. Create long sentence from the video. Please mention some sentences in the video that is using present tense, for example. The important thing, find very interactive video. For example, when I give video to my intermediate class, I want to teach them grammar. I give them the video of Japan because I ask them, what country do you like? Japan. Okay, so I show the video of culture in Japan. And then I ask them, give me one sentence in present tense, past tense, future, or present perfect. Because my class is online for bachelor, put the sentence in the chat room. So if they leave during my class, they cannot put the sentence on the chat room. I cannot control 35 students online, whether they are in a class with me or just put video. I mean, put screen. Off camera, off video, off. And then I do not know where are they, where they are. They are sleeping in the outside the room or not. But wherever or whenever they put question in my chat room, it means they follow my class. It's not easy to control 35 students online. But if you are offline, I think it's good. You can ask them to discuss. Okay, so flipped classroom is challenging, but you can solve this challenge if you want. Changing the mindset. Paradigm shift. That's the meaning of paradigm shift. So it doesn't mean anything with the curriculum. No problem with the curriculum. If you change curriculum, you need to invite all teachers to discuss. But using technology, improve yourself is a matter of yourself. Only one person need to change. So I have a quote to end this session. Individually, we can change a lot, but globally, we can change the world. So we start with changing ourselves as a teacher. So thank you very much, Bu Nunu. I hope the discussion give a lot of benefit to students who are also teachers. Good luck for teachers. I mean, specifically in Inggris and to all of you who are also teachers. Thank you very much, Bu Nunu. I think this
Thank you
is
so much. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for Pulusia, to Pulusia and to Pak Wiyaka. We have come to the conclusion of this event, this activity. I hope by listening to the talks from the presenter, we learn a lot about the importance of being aware of the changing of technology and how to implement that in our classroom, and also to acknowledge that assessment is more than just scoring your student, but it also maintaining and also keeping tabs on the student's progress. It is more than just giving scores, because you have to educate them and be aware of that. So thank you so much to Dr. Wiyaka MPD and to Dr. Ana Lucia Mariani, PhD, for giving a very insightful talks. Thank you so much to all the participants, and herewith closing this event. Thank you so much for your attendance. See you in the next event. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Bu
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak
Nunu.
Wiyaka.
Terima kasih.
Bu Nunu.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Wi.